Ken, you preach stability, obviously, as a general manager. Things are not going very well with your hockey team. Do you believe in firing coaches? You've never fired a coach in midseason. And does he deserve even to be looked at by fans?
Well, Jim, I don't know if believe is the right word. No, I haven't fired a coach mid-season. I don't believe in it, I guess. But it doesn't. I also understand that there are times when possibly it needs to be done or it should be done.
In terms of signing or trading for a player, have you ever gone out and got a reclamation project and said it'll work on our team? And how strong does the leadership group need to be to go out and get a player who is, say, a reclamation project?
Yeah, I mean, I can't, I've been a manager for a long time, so I think the answer is yes. I think you're talking about a player that hasn't worked out somewhere else. I know
yes.
The word reclamation project, because these are, when a situation doesn't work out somewhere else, to give someone another opportunity, yes. Do I believe in it? Yes.
And how disappointed are you with where the Oilers are right now?
Well, very. I think if you look at the season on December, we were looking yesterday, December the 2nd, we were first overall in the National Hockey League. What's today, January 10th or 11th? So a lot's happened in 6 weeks. We were 16-5, and then we've gone 2-9-2 in the last. So the first 21 games, we were first overall in points percentage, and then the last 13, 2-9-2. I think we have the second worst record in the National Hockey League over that 13-game span. So it's. We've gone from one extreme to another extreme. So, I'm not, to tell you the honest truth, I believe we have a good team. I obviously built the team. Whatever happens is on me. I think, again, I'm not really sure where we're at, because it's been two extremes have been so far apart. And I think that in the 16-5, our special teams were a major factor. We were probably near the top of the lead, it was extremely good. And now in the last 13 games, I think we're 18% in the power play, and I think we're 68% in the penalty kill. So, if your combined totals, power play and penalty kill, if it adds up to say 105 to 110, you're right near the top of the league. And we were probably 140-ish, the first 15 games, which is unsustainable. And now, it's 68 plus 18. It's 86. So it's got to be probably near the bottom of the league. So I think that, that would be one example of what's happened here the last 13 games. But again, I'm not sure where we're at, because we've been in such extremes. The first 21 games versus the last 13 that I'm not sure where we're at, but I believe we have a good team, but it's been too extreme, so it's been hard for me to really get an understanding of where we're at.
Thank you.
Ken, when you're in Detroit, Dan Cleary got an opportunity, and Dan had talked about, he had some drinking problems, and he cleared that up. Zach Cassian here in Edmonton went through the rehabilitation program of the NHL, and it worked out for him, and he's been a lot better of a person first. You talk about people. If you're going to have a conversation with Evander Kane, would it focus more about making him a better person first? The player on the ice is good. It seems to be that, he's got some issues more person-wise that don't have to do with on-ice hockey.
I think, Jason, it would be, first to get an understanding, of everything that's gone on in that person's life, or not their whole life, but get an understanding of what's going on, and then trying to, it's like I said to Jim. I guess the answer to your question, I believe in second chances. It's hard to be perfect. We're all people. We all make mistakes. Some make big mistakes. Some make little mistakes. But it's hard to be perfect. And I think if somebody makes a decision or does something in their life and they make a mistake, I think they have to, try to learn from it and try to change, and should be entitled to a second opportunity once they do some of those things.
When you look now, go to your team, and you mentioned the two extremes. The one area, goals against 5-on-5, has been an issue for the club for a long time. Obviously, Mike Smith's injury derailed the team a bit, but your goaltending, you've got a young guy in Stuart Skinner who played here. He had a .916 save percentage. He's been down in the minors playing great. If you can't make a trade, do you have to try to solve internally? And does Stuart Skinner a guy that you're looking at giving more of an opportunity?
I think first off, if we're just talking about the goaltending, we got to get Smitty. I'm going to go back 3 years. When I became manager here, I, as the manager, made a decision to sign Mike Smith. Obviously, Dave Tippett, the coach, had a relationship with him. And I thought in the 19-20 season, when we had, 72 points or 74 points with 10 games to go, that our goaltending played, the way it was built. I think early on, Tip went 2 games for Smitty, 2 games for Koski, and they rotated. And I think they basically played half the games, thereabouts, over the 72 games. And when Koski went, kind of slipped a little bit, Smitty carried the load, and vice versa. But it was a good tandem. And then, last year, in a 56-game schedule, Smitty got hurt, and we had to overplay Koski for the first, I think he played 10 of the first 11 the first 12, and then Smitty came back, and Smitty carried the bulk of the load. I think he played 35 of the last 46. But the schedule was, last year, was a different schedule. We'd go play 2 road games in Winnipeg, and we'd fly in the day before, and you'd play a game, and you'd have an off day, so it was an easier schedule. Now it's a more difficult schedule. I don't think he can, and I say most goalies it's hard to play 35 out of 46 with an NHL the way it is today. We get into game 3, and going into this season, that was our thought. It's going to be Smitty and Koski. We're going to ride the 2, and one's going to get hot for a little bit, and the other one's going to slip. But they'll probably play a similar amount of games, and whenever somebody gets on a roll, we'll go with them. Game 3, Smitty got hurt. We thought it was nagging at the time, and so we ran out Koski for a lot. There was still an unknown about Stu Skinner, and I'm going back to October. So there was we wanted to get off to a good start, and then we played Koski a lot. We kept thinking that Smitty was on the horizon, but it was a nagging injury, and it kept nagging at him and kept nagging at him and kept nagging at him. We eventually worked Stu Skinner into the mix, and I thought that Koski and Stu Skinner did a really good job in in that 16-5. I mean, other than 2 games, they were the guys in net for 16-5. And then I think that over the last 13 games, we've just sort of come derailed. We haven't played good enough defensively. I think everybody's got to play better. I mean, probably our goaltending, our team play, our special teams. We've got some individuals I believe can play better over the last 13 games. So, Smitty's back now, after Christmas. I think we're going to come out. We obviously we play 1 game here in 2 weeks. It's against Ottawa on Saturday. We're going to have some practice time here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, play a game, and then practice next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think we got to get back to Smitty and Koski. But saying all that, Stu Skinner's in a good spot. He's playing every night down there in Bakersfield. I've been watching every game on the computer. He's playing real well. We know what he can do here. I think he's an NHL goalie in the waiting or making, however you want to do it. But I think he's in a good place right now that he's playing lots. Let's get going here and see how we get going after this break.
Okay, so how long though can you wait? If you have a young goalie who's playing well and you're not getting the goaltending you want, is it 2 games? Is it 4? How long before you have to make that change?
Jason, here's what, as the manager, I think it's my job to protect people, okay? To make sure that they are ready. Play the kids. Then when the kids make mistakes, we don't like the kids, get different kids, and the kids go elsewhere and they have success that you thought they were going to have here. I'd rather wait a little bit too long than move too soon. I think that. So now, how long can I wait? I'm going to watch. I'm going to evaluate. We have 48 games to go. I understand we got to hit the ground running. Now that I can't judge one game. You can't just, if you lose a game, all of a sudden start to make, I got to watch some games. I can't put a number on it, but I got to watch some games. I got to see how we play. I got to see how everything goes. But I think everybody in that room understands that we've got 48 games to go, and we've got to hit the ground running here and start to put something together ASAP as soon as we get going.
Hi, Ken, over here.
Yeah.
Your philosophy on not replacing a coach in mid-season, is that, what are you based on? Is it just too disruptive or too easy, or you just haven't had occasion or reason to ask?
Here's how I analyze it, Rob. I hired Tip. In my mind, we made the playoffs the last 2 years. The year before we got here, I think the team was 28th in the league in points. Under Tip's leadership in year one, we were in second place in the division. The pandemic hit. We lost the play-in series against Chicago, but if there was no pandemic, we were making the playoffs. Last year we were second in the North. We lost 3 games in overtime against Winnipeg, and certainly we got swept. But we've been in the playoffs 2 years in a row. On December the 2nd, we were first place in the National Hockey League overall. We've had a bad 5 weeks. There's been 7 coaches here in 10 years. You can't just keep whipping through coaches. You can't. At some point in time, I think the team plays hard. Our last game was against Toronto. It's, you look at the record, I look at, I break it down. Against Toronto, it's 2-2 with 7 minutes to go. We take a penalty, they score, and they thought it was a pretty even game. And we lose in overtime in the Island, and we were up by a goal in Jersey, and they tie it late, and they beat us in overtime. And we're 2-2 late in the second period in St. Louis. And the games, I think Boston, we're 2-2 or something with 3 minutes to go, and we lose a face-off in our zone, and Boston scores a goal. So it's 2-1 with 3 minutes to go against Carolina in the third period. I think it's 2-1 with 5 minutes to go in the third period against the LA Kings. We're not getting... We've given up the first goal, I think 20 out of 24, 21 out of 25 games. So it feels like the last 6 weeks we've been sort of chasing the game. But even falling behind, even with the special teams, we seem to find a way to play our way back into the game. So I feel like we've got a team that's competitive. They're competing. We're just not winning. And I understand we're in pro hockey and we're judged on wins and losses, and we haven't won enough. But I believe that the coaching staff the team is playing hard. They're competing every night. We've got a bit of a break here, and I hopefully talk to Tip and talk to a few of the players, make a couple tweaks, get people out of COVID, get our team back, and let's see how we can do. But I think if you look at Tip's run as coach here, it's been a bad 5 weeks, or December 2nd to 5.5 weeks. It's been a bad 13 games. It's been a disappointing 13 games. But the other 2 years and the disappointing playoff series against Winnipeg, disappointing play-in, I guess that was a funny thing in the middle of July or the middle of August. I think that was a funny thing. But so I think it's been a tough 5 weeks.
Having said that, is there a wins and losses tipping point, or is Tippett going to coach it?
We're going to start to win. Can't say for certain, but I think we're going to start to win. I believe in the coach. I believe in the team. I believe in the leadership of the team. I believe in their determination. I think that we've found lots of ways, not found, but the other team has won games here and we haven't, and that's pro sports, and if we can win a couple of games and get our swagger back a little bit and feel good about ourselves and start to ride the wave. I think right now it's going downhill in the wrong direction, and we've got to turn this thing around. So I believe we're gonna get going here.
Hi, Ken.
Yeah.
Whether it's goaltending or another position, if you do need to look externally for guys that will help, what's your sense of a trade market right now, and how has it been affected by the fact that a lot of teams like you maybe have had gaps in the schedule and not played a bunch?
Well, Reed, I've talked to a few managers the last week. you cover the league. I mean, how many trades of consequence have gone on in this league since October, since the season started? Not many. I mean, there's been the odd trade, but, you know, and there's other teams struggling besides us. We're not the only team struggling. I mean, so I think the reality is the solution has to be in either in that locker room or you know, somebody from Bakersfield. I am working the phones. But for right now, today, I think that the solution has to be in that locker room. And again, it's like I said, the team was first overall December the 2nd. Now we have the second worst team in the league the last 13 games. So I don't know where we are, but we're better than what we've been playing. I believe that, and I don't know that there's I could go out and make some big trade to kind of turn the things around, but I am talking to teams.
All right, and I know you got asked a couple of questions about players getting second chances, so I'll just ask about the specific player here.
Yeah.
What's your level of interest in Evander Kane?
Well, I've talked to his agent. I know his agent's Dan Milstein. I know Dan very well because he was Pavel Datsuk's agent. And I had lots of dealings with Dan Milstein. So I have talked to Dan Milstein, his agent. You know, I would say to you as a manager, it's my responsibility to, you know, investigate every situation. You know, talk to managers. So I have talked to Dan.
We'll go to the final two with Daniel. Ken, just back here.
Yeah.
Since you've come, you've really wanted to improve the depth of this team, and especially in the bottom couple of lines. But without McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice, this team is getting outscored 2-1. What do you think is the solution there? Why has this happened this year? Excuse me.
Well, I think, Daniel, you know, part of it is we got to keep the puck out of our net better. I don't know where we are in goals against. Are we 25th or something? So, you know, I'm going to reflect back on my time in Detroit. And, you know, in 92, 93, 94, we scored lots. We gave up too much. And in the playoffs, we couldn't score, and we were out in the first round. So I think that we've got to get a little bit more offense out of the bottom part of our roster. But I also think that we've got to buckle down and keep the puck out of our net a little bit more. So I think it's a combination of the two. I don't think it's just we got to get more secondary scoring, more secondary scoring, more secondary scoring. I think that we've got people in that locker room that can score more than what they've scored to this point in time. And I also think that, you know, I think our defense, I think we've played better defensively the last while. And that's, you know, to Rob's, that's why I believe we're going to get this thing going and turned in the other direction because of the way we're playing. I think that we're going to get it turned. But can we get a little bit more offense out of the, you know, after Connor and Leon? Probably everybody can. They've some have gone good and then they've gone dry, and other guys haven't really got it going. You know, some people haven't scored. But I think that there's more goals in there. But I also think that we have to can't be 25th or I don't know the exact. I didn't look the last day or two. But we're in the bottom third of the league in goals against. Certainly, we know we've got to do a better job of keeping the puck out of our net.
And given where Connor and Leon are in their careers and the types of seasons that they are having, they're right in the primes of their careers. Do you have to be all in? Can you afford to not be all in at the, you know, as you head?
Well, I think we're all in. I mean, we're at the cap. We're actually probably over the cap. You know, I signed Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to a long-term deal. In the off-season, I signed Zach Hyman to a long-term deal. You know, we signed Cody Ceci. I brought in Fogle for Ethan Bear. I mean, we're trying to be all in. I mean, I'm trying to be all in. It's you know, I'm not sure where you're going with that question.
Just in the terms of, are there any prospects or picks or assets that wouldn't be on the table? Is everything on the table? Right
now, nobody's on. None of those. Wait, why would I? Are you talking a rental, or are you talking to make a trade and to trade our top prospects for a rental to try to bail out of this year? Or are you trying to
for help this year? for help this year?
I wouldn't do that. I think the answer's in that locker room. I mean, why would I trade a first-round pick or one of our top prospects to have somebody give us a little bit of a boost, and then next year we have a press conference and you're asking me about more secondary scoring again, or more depth, The depth has to be built internally. The depth of this organization has to be the growth of McLeod, the growth of Yamamoto, the growth of Bouchard, the growth of Broberg, the growth of Skinner, the growth of Carter Savoy, the growth of Borgo, the growth of Petrov. That's how we did it in Detroit. And when I look around, that's how the best teams do it. It's homegrown. It's young people. It's being patient. It's we came here, signed Jay Woodcroft. Woody's done a great job in developing players down there. I think that's how you got to get better. It's got to be. Now, I understand Connor's 25 and Leon's 26. And would I trade something if it's a hockey trade and you bring in somebody and he's here for this year and beyond? That's a different story. But if your question is to me just to trade some grade A prospect to give a little bit of a boost and a bump so we can have another press conference next week, and then that guy goes on and flourishes in another organization somewhere else for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. And we're back to the market next year because that person we got leaves. I'm not doing that. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you.